Hello, Dr. James Bogash, expert in health and longevity and creator of Bogash Life and Balance. And today we're going to drive home a point that I have not stopped hammering on for years, and that is drinking out of plastic water bottles. It still shocks me how many people think that they need to have 12 fluid ounces of water at any given moment in their entire life, and that's going to make them healthy. We've been doing this for a while now, and do we see lower rates of diabetes and obesity and heart disease? No. So obviously that's not the answer, and not only is it not helpful, there is a high likelihood that drinking out of plastic water bottles is going to damage your health. And not just from the standard BPA argument, which is what I've made for a long time. We know that BPA in plastic water bottles leaches into the water and then has an effect on certain cancer rates, especially hormonally dependent cancer rates like breast cancer and prostate cancer, but also on diabetes and obesity and infertility and fertility risk. So definitely has problems with human health. And the longer it's in contact with, the more problematic. So even if you buy your plastic water bottles and you run home and you put it in the fridge, well, we live in Phoenix, and it's not unusual to see a flatbed trailer in the middle of summer loaded with plastic water bottles. And so you may have bought it and taken it home to the refrigerator, but it could have been baking in the sun for hours prior to that. So keep that in mind. But even beyond the BPA, there is this concept of microplastics. And these are very small portions of the plastic that break down and end up in both the water supply. So we see this in fish, we see this in our food supply, we see this in our drinking water. But just how bad and scary is it? So right now the research on microplastics is certainly developing, but you can bet you're not going to be more healthy for having more microplastics in your system. So this was researchers looked at a group of studies, 6 studies on tap water and 6 studies on bottled water. And they estimated the annual exposure for people who drank tap water and bottled water. For tap water, it was 450,000 microparticles. That's a pretty high number, but just in case you think you're going to skip to bottled water, the average estimate was 3,569,000. So over 3.5 million microplastic particles you're exposed to if you drink water out of a plastic water bottle on a regular basis. Just stop. I don't know how much more to say. Not only is it bad for the environment from a plastic standpoint, but from a microplastic standpoint, we're going to ruin the fish supply. We're going to ruin our water supply. It's just stupid. It's so easy to get stainless steel these days, and just drink out of that. That's not a problem, and whatever you're drinking will stay cold for far longer. So unless you're trapped in the middle of the desert and your only option is drinking out of a plastic water bottle, just stop. I've certainly given everything I can about how we drink tea, typically out of an RO system. And I would also think that a RO system should filter out these microplastics, so making it not an issue. And just a heavy advocate of tea, unsweetened, flavored, organic when possible tea. So as always, I will post a link to this particular study in the description. Make sure you like this video, share it with somebody who you know just drinks bottled water like it's going out of style or there's a pandemic, and subscribe to the channel.